Hey guys, Metal War God here, and I am the Vinyl Hunter. New segment. Last Saturday I was up in Fargo doing some vinyl hunting, and I usually stop at 3 spots, but unfortunately only 2 places were open at the time. But the Vinyl Giant was having a sale on vinyl that they wanted to reduce some stock, I'm sure, for the record fair coming up on, I believe, the 21st of October in Fargo. I think it's the 8th annual Fargo Record Fair, which I'll be at. But anyway, they had a sale going on up there. You could get 10 albums for $15, or they were $2 a piece. So I was up there going through most of their stock, and I mean, for the most part, you know, a lot of it wasn't very good. A lot of it was beat up. The covers are trashed. Some of the covers were missing albums. Some of it shit was warped. So I mean, you get what you pay for, but if you're an avid collector like I am, you go through the stuff, take your time, you do find some gems. And I was very pleased what I found. A lot of it is stuff, more of the commercial stuff, but I did find some good gems in there that I don't normally see, especially for $2 or 10 for 15. But anyway, let's get on with it. I picked up first album. The cover's in, I mean, I was surprised. The cover was in this great a shape, and it was in there. And talking about the Outlaws and their classic album, Lady in Waiting. Of course, it has Stick Around for Rock and Roll, Freeborn Man. This is a gatefold. And the vinyl's in pretty decent shape. Can't complain. It's on Aristubs. Came out in 1966. And like I say, if there's anything bad with it, there's a little bad spot back here, but I'm not going to complain for $2 or for what I got it for. I'll take it. Up next, I wanted this for a long time. I had it at one time, my first collection. I've always loved this song on the radio, and I can remember the first time when I first heard this. I loved it. It's back when rock radio was rock radio. It's none of the crap that's on there now. But anyway, talking about Donnie Iris and Back on the Streets from 1980. On Carousel Records, I believe, division of MCA. Yeah, it has MCA, and it got the little carousel up here. But of course, it has the hit Aaliyah, which I've always liked. I've always liked Donnie Iris. I think he put out 3 albums that I'm aware of, but this is by far the one that everybody knows. And I mean, with the sale going on, and albums in pretty decent shape. But anyway, Donnie Iris. Up next, these two I was very, very surprised that they were in there. Usually with this guy here, I think usually the prices go up since he's no longer with us. I love his style. I love how he comes across as a guitarist. Very, very, very bluesy. Very, very. I don't know. I think if he would have had survived and lived on, he probably would have been one of the best ever. But I still consider him one of the best. And I'm talking about Roy Buchanan. And this album came out in 1974 on Polydor. And in the beginning, very surprised that this was in there. Covers in good shape. Got hardly any wear on the outer edges. If there is a bad spot, maybe one little ding down here. Very, very little ring wear. The vinyl's in, God, I want to say very good to almost very good shape. Very clean. As you can see, it's on the Polydor label. But this one actually did not have an insert, so I use these white inserts. But like I say, the vinyl's in very, very, very good shape. I was happy about that. And then A little later on throughout the morning, I was getting towards the end. I think there was like 2 crates left I had to go through, and lo and behold, I found another Roy Buchanan. And that's what I am here for. This also came out this one came out in 73, also on Polydor. This one covers in a little bit rougher shade. It's got some ring wire, which you can see, but overall, the spine's good. A little wear on the top, but still a very, for the time and being in the box, good shape. The vinyl's got a little wear, but I'm not gonna worry about it. Of course, also on the Polydor label. Of course, this has the classic track on here, Roy's Blues, and My Baby, She's Going to Leave Me, and Hey Joe, of course, done by Jimi Hendrix. And if you're not familiar with Roy Buchanan, definitely check him out. Great guitarist for his time. And there is a little bit of a tear down here, but nothing really bad. But anyway, some Roy Buchanan. Up next, this is a promo I had at one time. Covers, not bad. Got a little wear up here in this corner, and I'm talking about Zebra. Of course, this came out in 1984 on Atlantic Records. This is a gold label promo. You can see the gold label stamp up here. But overall, the cover's in decent shape. Got the original Atlantic insert. This, of course, No Telling Lies from Zebra. The vinyl's in very good shape. Usually in cases where they're having sales on bins that very rarely get gone through, and they're in tough shape, that you'll sometimes run across these albums that are in tough shape. And I did run across a couple that I wanted to get, but they were absolutely toasted. I'm starting to pick up a few more from this kind of a lighter southern rock band. I'm talking about Poco and their album 7. Of course, if you're not familiar with Poco, this has Timothy B. Schmidt, who later on went to the Eagles. And anyway, this is 7 from 1974 on the CBS label. It's got a little bit of ring wear, but the cover's in fairly decent shape. No ding quarters. It has the original inner, which is in very decent shape. Usually you'll find them where they're ripped here or up here, but good shape. It's on Epic. Vinyl's in very good shape. So I'm happy to pick this one up. And so anyway, some Poco with 7. Up next, I've seen this countless times. I don't think I ever had it in my first collection, but I figured it was getting towards the end of where I needed to pick up 1 or 2 albums to finish off 20 for 30. And this is the only one I've seen. And I do like this band. I do like some of their material. And I'm talking about Asia. And this is their self-titled on Geffen Records. And this came out in 1982. Of course, if you're not familiar with Asia, of course, has Jeff Downs, Steve Howe, Carl Palmer, and John Wetton, which I'll refer to a little bit later, John Wetton. And has the original inner. Got a little tears here, but overall, the vinyl's in very good shape. Can't complain. Needs to be cleaned a little bit, but other than that, I'm very happy. Kind of more prog rock orientated, but anyway, here's Asia with their self-titled from 82, and a band I think everybody's familiar with. I don't see too many people really showing this, and I remember when they first came out back in mid-70s on talk about Head East, and this album here, I believe it's just Head East. Yeah. Actually, anyway, Head East. This one was from, I think God, what year was this one? But cover's in pretty decent shape. The inner needs to be replaced, of course. Of course, this one came out in 78. But the vinyl's in not bad shape, like I said. And like I said, overall, I'm happy with what I got. As far as going through all the crates. But anyway, here's some Head East. And then I had this at one time. I love this guy's guitar playing. It's not metal, it's not rock, it's not blues, but jazz, electric jazz, guitar jazz, and I'm talking about Al Di Meola and Elegant Gypsy. There are 4 albums right around the same era, time span. This one was 77, I believe. There was 75, 76, 77, 78, which I think were probably some of the best albums Al Di Meola put out. He's still out there touring today, but I love this one. This is Elegant Gypsy. There was, God, now I'm going to forget. There was Casino that I love and have. And there was Splendido Hotel, which is very good. There's a couple other ones too, but I love this guy's guitar playing. Very good jazz guitarist, especially electric. He plays a good acoustic too, but I don't go for a lot of jazz, but I do like this style of jazz. Of course, I like Billy Cobham, Stanley Clarke, Paco de Luca, Chick Corea, John McLaughlin, stuff like that. You know, that's all very influential jazz for me back in the 70s, and Al Di Meola is no exception. Great stuff. And then I had mentioned John Wetton, of course, who's no longer with us. And I remember when I first bought this, and I had it in my first collection, I don't know, I really didn't get into it. And I really didn't understand the style. But I do now. I love it. And talking about UK, of course, this has John Wetton, Alan Holdsworth, Bill Bruford, Eddie Jobson. I think UK did 3 albums, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, this one came out, God, I want to say this was 1978, I believe. The cover's in very good shape. I got a little bent crease up here, but nothing really overly bad. Little bit of ring wear, but it's one of those albums that are kind of you either like it or you don't. And of course, it's on the UK label, product of Polydor. So I was happy to pick this up. Again, this was kind of like, well, this one, no, I bought this right away when I seen it, so I picked it up. And I wanted to get this UK back into my collection, and I did. Of course, now it won't go back in. There it goes. So UK. And then there were some singles there, 12-inch singles. There was, I think, 6 or 7. This is the only one I really bought. And this is a promo, 12-inch promo, and it's from the Cars. And their song, You Might Think. And of course I put it in a new sleeve, and I mean, this is like it's never been played ever. It's like mint condition. Just needs to be cleaned a little bit. But the Car single on 12-inch, and of course on Electra. And like I say, I don't think this, I mean, if this was in rotation through some radio station, they definitely didn't take this out a lot. Cover's in pretty decent shape. Got one little bad corner here, but no big deal. So anyway, the car single. And this one was actually out in, what was it, 1984. These next two are from a guitarist that was in the Allman Brothers, early Allman Brothers. And of course, Dwayne Allman passed away early on in his career. Of course, we just lost Greg Allman, and I showed an album that just came out from Greg called Southern Blood, an album he recorded prior to his death. But anyway, this individual was in Allman Brothers for a while, and he went on, and he's still around today. And I'm talking about Dickie Betts, and this album, Great Southern, from 1977. Definitely Southern rock influenced, like Skynyrd, Hatchet, 38 Special. But Dickie had his own flair for the guitar, his own style, and the cover's in very good shape. Surprised. And of course, you got the original in her. The vinyl's in fairly good shape. Just needs to be clean, like most of these. Of course, like I said, 1977 on the Arista record label. So this was one that I found in that sale. And the other one was, and I was surprised this one was even there, the Dickie Betts Band. And this is called Pattern Disruptive. I believe this came out in 1988 on CBS Records. This Great Southern was on Arista, like I said. It was on Arista, so different label. Covers in very good shape. Just a little corner ding here. Surprising. But anyway, it has the inner has a little writing about Dickie Betts right here. And the album's in very good shape. One little scratch, but I don't think it's going to affect play. Again, needs to be cleaned. But anyway, these are actually the only two Dickie Betts I've seen there. I did go inside, but I never really, I was looking for one particular album and I never found it. I couldn't quite remember the name, but I did after I got home, of course. And if I go back next time, I'm hopeful it's there. But anyway, the Dickie Betts Band. And then definitely some pop rock that I think it's fun. I love the song. Everybody knows. In fact, I was just at the grocery store yesterday, and one of the checkout and the packager were talking, and she said, "Well, you don't know my number," and he rattled off 867-5309, and I said, "Do you know who that was?" And everybody said, "Yeah, that's Jenny's number." So I picked up Tommy Two-Tone 2. Of course, this has 867-5309. I think Tommy did 2 albums, and I don't know. It may not be for everybody, but I like Tommy Two-Tone. That's what made him big, a one-hit wonder band. And cover's in good shape. Just a tiny bit of ring wear. Still has the original in her, and just a tiny bit of wear, but nothing overly bad. I think this will play fine. And of course, on the Columbia Red. So this is something that I wanted and found. I don't think if it would have been $5-6, I probably would not have gotten it, but since it was part of the sale, I picked it up. And then this is an album that I have wanted. I don't see it very often, and this album's from '77 on the Arista Records. This originally was a cutout, I'm saying. It's got a bad corner here. And I'm talking about the band Baby Grand, and 3-piece band. This band eventually disbanded and became the Hooters, and I like the Hooters. Good stuff. This is more, I'd say more prog rock in nature, but it has David Kagan, Eric Brazilian, Rob Hyman, and Rick Chertoff. So it is a 4-piece. They only showed 3 on the back, but vinyl's decent shape, very good shape on the Arista record label. Not 180 gram, I'm going to say it's probably 120 gram vinyl, but anyway, like I say, the cover's in really good shape, a little cutout, and like I say, Arista Records, baby grand. And these two, there was 3 of them there, and I don't know, I had something back of my head said just pick these up, grab them and look at them and make sure they're in decent shape. But little did I know that 2 are the same, one was a little different. So this is the first one I picked up. It's a Beautiful Day. And this was the second one I picked up. It's a Beautiful Day. Of course, covers are the same. One's a little wore. Up in this top corner, it has CBS stereo, can be played on mono, and then on this one all it has is not even that. All it has is the record label, and this is licensed not for sale in the USA. But anyway, totally the back covers are a little bit different, of course, as you can see down here. And this one does not have any of the writing. Of course, it says this CBS stereo records can be played on mono reproducers, provided either a compatible or stereo cartridge wired for mono fitted stereos. So anyway, I picked up these 2. I put the other one back. It's got a little bit of wear down here, but no big deal. For how old it is, I'll take it. It is a gatefold. And all the other ones I've ever seen from this band are not gatefolds. The cover slides in this way. And I'm going to show you these. This is on CBS Records. This one is made in England, so it's an English overseas album. And this one is a gatefold as well, but the album doesn't pull out here. And of course, this one is also CBS Records. As you can see, that label there is different than this label. So I got 2 albums of the same music. One is an American release and one is a European release from England. So I kept both of them, and I posted these online here, and I got a response from a guy that said, well, I have about 50 It's a Beautiful Day albums. And he said they're all different. Well, not all of them, but he just collects this particular style. And I'm happy with these 2 since they are different. And so, anyway, get this back in here. And of course, this has more writing here rather than this one here. So you can definitely tell they're 2 different pressings. And but I'm happy with both. I had excuse me, I had another It's a Beautiful Day that was just a single, not a gatefold edition, and it was a little different, but I was just happy to get these. And then of course another band out of the Bay Area on Berserkly Records, and I like this guy. There's just something about him. I think he's got some good songwriting, and he's just a pop artist. I'm talking about Greg Kinban and Glass House. Berserkly label. This one, let's see, it came out in 1980. And, excuse me. But, as you can see, it's on the Berserkly record label. Vinyl's in good shape. So I'm happy about picking this up. I'm getting quite a few now again. And of course, if you're not familiar with Greg Kihn, he did the song Jeopardy, which was a pop hit for him. So yeah, we're all different. We all like different stuff. And then I had this one time, and this is a band that released an album, 1984 band called Duke Jupiter and White Knuckle Ride. And just some hard rock. Could I describe it? It's been a while since I've heard it, so I might not really fully get it right, but it's on the Morocco Records label. But it's just some hard rock from the 80s. And I know there's a story behind some of these members, but I just can't remember it. The other day I was on their website, and I just don't remember what I read. So anyway, Duke Jupiter. And this one was a surprise. Very surprised I found this. It's on the Portrait Records label. And this came out in 1981, and the band is called Balance. There might be some who are familiar with Balance. Of course, this has Bob Kulick on guitars, Pepe Castro on lead and background vocals, and Doug Katsaros on keyboards. And of course, it has Andy Newmark on drums, Willie Weeks bass, John Siegler bass. But surprise find. Wasn't expecting it. Cover's got a little wear, but still it's pretty decent shape. And the surprise again, like I said, it was a surprise find. Still has the original inner. And the vinyl is in almost like mint shape. It's like it's never been played. Again, it's one of these that need to be cleaned and should play fine. So again, happy to find this. It's kind of funny, you know, with all the record collectors out there, and we go to a lot of shops, we do a lot of record fairs, we buy a lot online. It's just funny sometimes. I still like the old-fashioned way, going to a record shop, going through all the crates. And I can remember years and years ago where I used to go through the same store, I would spend hours in there, just kept going through there, because I'm sure there was always something that I missed, and sure enough, there was. And I was just glad. I just like going through albums and searching, and I was glad because I found this Balance album. And then these are from a different store. I went to Phat Cat Vinyls. He was having a sale, but nothing like this. 10 for 15, 50% off all albums. And usually this guy has some stuff in there that's most of it's pricey. And but I guess I caught him on a good day, and 50% off. And I usually go through his recent bins that stuff he had just gotten in or bought, and I went through it and I picked up Status Quo Dog of Two Head from I believe this is 1973, if I'm not mistaken. Excuse me. Anyway, I believe it was 73. But I don't see that. Very rarely do I ever see this, so I picked it up. I think once 50% off was, I think I got it for $9. But it is a gatefold. I'm trying to build up more of my Status Quo collection, and which is starting to take off fairly decent. Of course, this is on the Pi record label. And yeah, this came out in 71, not 73, but you can see the Pi record label. Vinyl's in very good shape. Cover's in good shape. And so anyway, normally if I do see status quo stuff, it's usually the same stuff. So I was just happy to pick this up. And then last time I was in there, I didn't see any of this. I knew about this band, or kind of, but there were two copies there. One was $4 more than the other. The only difference, one was in cellophane, and this one didn't have an inner sleeve. The covers were basically in the same condition, and I'm talking about Cherry People. And I believe this originally came out in 1968. Of course, if you're not familiar with Cherry People, this is on the Heritage Record Corporation, and there's a gatefold. And of course, this has Punky Meadows, who later was in Intruder. He was in Bucks, and of course, Angel. Bucks is probably a better release than his Cherry People, but I mean, still, it's a great find. I'm glad I found it. Like I say, I'd never see these, and anyway, I was just happy to pick this up, Cherry People. And then excuse me again, trying to get rid of this cold. It's just killing me. But it must have been about 4 or 5 months ago. I bought about 30 albums on a sale, anywhere from 99 cents to $4.99. And one of the albums I picked up was from a band called Whiteface. And I did some searching, and they have a couple albums out. And I was again going through some of his more recent buys, and I came across this one, Whiteface, live at the Agora. And to me, it looks like it's a promo, not for sale. And this was recorded live at the Agora Ballroom in Atlanta, Georgia, on May 18, 1979. And Surprise was there, of course, on the Mercury label. The album is it's got a little bit of wear on it, but I think for the most part it should play fine. Again, it needs to be cleaned, and it should be fine, hopefully. But I love finding gems like these. You never see them hardly. And so for me to find this was just a bonus. And I think this one was, when half price was off, it was like $5. So I think all in all, what I got from the Phat Cats ended up being about $30. But anyway, Whiteface. And then I got 2 left. And I usually go through the heavy metal bin, which he doesn't have a lot, maybe stacked about like this. And every time I go in there, it's usually the same stuff. It's always priced high. Once in a while, you find stuff that is decently priced, and this time I happened to find Santers. Scott Waters has showed this band out of Canada, I do believe. This is called Shot Down in Flames. And this came out in, I believe it was 1980, if I'm not mistaken. 1981, on Ready Records. And so, yeah, it's on Ready Records. So I'm sure this is a Canadian release. But as you can see, vinyl's in pretty decent shape. I think I paid $8 for this after 50% off. So another surprise find. Sometimes he does have decent prices on some metal stuff, but yeah, at one time it was $9.95 Canadian, so Canadian band. And last, very surprised, I found this. About 2 months ago, I found this band's first album. All-female group, again, they're out of Canada. And this is on the Dunhill ABC Records. This album came out in '73. Their second album from Bertha and Can't Stop the Madness. Their first album is absolutely great. This one I have not heard very much of, and it's a gatefold. But yeah, some early hard rock from a female band out of Canada. So anyway, cover's in not bad shape. There's a little bit of writing. Somebody wrote their name on top. Of course, this is on Bone Hill Records, product of ABC. And the vinyl's in not bad shape. Again, a good cleaning and should be fine. So happy to pick this up, and these are the only two releases that Bertha put out, as far as I know. But I was just happy to pick this up again. And like I say, there's a little bit of writing up here if you can see that right there. But overall, the vinyl's not bad shape. A little bit of wear, but you'd expect that for when it came out. And a little bit of ring wear in the back, but all in all, I'm happy. But anyway, that is what I found on my the Vinyl Hunter. I'm sure I'll have another update here in a couple of weeks after the Fargo Record Fair. But anyway, leave your comments below if you have any. And thanks for watching my video, and I'll see you next time on the Vinyl Hunter. This is Metal War God. Take care, everybody.